All right, here we go. Great evening, great evening. I am the dynamic, daring, one-of-a-kind diva, Denise Silas. Thank you and welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. We are excited to have you on with us tonight. Um, we have some great things in store for this month with our new format. I'm excited to have our new series that we're going to have as well. So let me tell you about what's happening. So let's talk about it Tuesday. I am your host, Denise Silas. And with that, we are having our new series, I Am a Survivor, in honor of National Women's Health Month. And with that, we are having a host of women that's going to share with us their story. Our theme is Beyond the Diagnosis and a journey of hope, healing, and empowerment. And with those women, this is the lineup that we have for the month. So I'm excited about that. So we've created this to give women a safe and empowering space to share their stories, not just about illness, but about resilience, faith, perseverance, healing, and rediscovering who they are beyond one of the most challenging seasons of their lives. Too often, women silently carry the emotional, mental, and physical weight of health battles while still trying to show up for everyone else. Tonight, we want women to know you are not alone. Your story matters. Your struggle does not cancel your strength. Throughout this month, we'll hear from incredible women who have faced diagnoses that changed their lives, but did not define their destiny. Women who have navigated fear, uncertainty, treatments, recovery, setbacks, support systems, emotional healing, and the courage to keep going. These conversations are not just about surviving physically, they are about learning how to live fully again. So, whether you are a survivor, a caregiver, supporting someone you love, or simply joining us to learn and be encouraged, thank you for being here and being a part of this community. So, I am excited to introduce to you our guest for tonight, Miss Alexandria Grant. Let's get her. Alexandria Grant, professionally known as A. Nicole, is a powerhouse, principal advisor, collegiate mentor, a motivational voice who transforms adversity into purpose. A fearless survivor of multiple sclerosis and life-threatening blood clots that leads with grit, grace, and God's unstoppable faith. Through executive leadership training, business advising, and the A. Nicole magazine, she equips others to rise, lead, and own their story. Her mission to ignite bold action, amplify real voices, and prove that your journey can change the world. By sharing real stories of perseverance across industries, A. Nicole not only inspires but also partners with impactful organizations like SCORE, Teach for America, and her own nonprofit, the Release Foundation, by continuing her commitment to develop, give back, and empower others to push forward with purpose. She lives by the belief that life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating who you're meant to be, and her work reflects that truth in every way. Stay connected with her through her website. I've put her link tree in the comments. We'll make sure we put that in there again. So we're excited to have her with us tonight. So let me stop this share, bring her up, and get this party started. Awesome. So first of all, thank you very much for saying yes. Your yes supports my mission and being able to empower women to be the best version of themselves. So we're going to jump into these questions
Okay.
and talk through those questions. And then, ladies, as I mentioned, go ahead, put your questions in the chat, and we'll later on in our conversation, we'll be able to address those questions as well. So let me grab this. So thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great, doing great. And thank you again. She was one invited myself and my daughters also to participate in her magazine. So that was such an honor. So the things that you do to uplift other women, we do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. So our first question, can you share your diagnosis story and what life looked like before your health journey began?
Oh wow, it's such a I don't know if to call it a crazy question. When people ask me that question, it's almost like it always brings tears to my eyes because I don't really know how to answer it.
Oh,
But what life looked like for me before I was diagnosed, I was living my best life. I was my business was at its peak. I was just going. I was what people used to call me was the Energizer Bunny. I felt like my life was amazing. I felt like my business was doing well. It was like nothing could stop me. And so before the diagnosis, I was just like living life. And so in 2019, I remember the exact date, December 27, 2019. It was like my life was became a complete dream. I was like, God, what are you doing to me? Because everything, it was like I was on a natural high. I'll put it like that. Business was doing well, money was flowing in, my following was great, and then everything came to a complete halt because I was sick and I thought that I had a cold. I thought it was the flu. I was just thinking everything that wasn't wrong with me was wrong, if that makes sense. And so I ended up going to the the minor med, and because I was having what may look like to the natural eye a Charlie horse, and so they kept sending me home, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be fine." They gave me muscle relaxers, and
mm,
so after I went home, I had another Charlie horse, but it was not a Charlie horse. It was what they call in the multiple sclerosis world a MS attack. And so the last time I had a Charlie horse, my doctor sent me to the emergency room and he put in my paperwork signs of epilepsy. And so me being the person that I am, I said to myself, I'm gonna go to the hospital. I probably just need a day of rest. And so I remember telling my director at the time, I said, I'm gonna be back to work tomorrow because I'll be fine. And I remember the doctor coming into the room that I was in, and he said, "Hey, we found a brain lesion and on your brain stem." And I remember sitting in the hospital, and I was like, "God, like, why would you let this happen to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this?" And that's all I could think of at the time. But I also remember saying to myself, maybe I just need to sit down. Because if anybody knows me during that time, I would just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and keep going. No matter if I felt bad, no matter if life would get me down, because the way I would push through something is to start something new.
mm,
So the diagnosis of just having a brain lesion, because at the time they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, they just said that I had a brain lesion. So what life looked like before me being diagnosed was to keep going. And what life looks now is to stop, to pause, to understand that you can't keep going all the time. You have to take care of yourself. So even though at the time I did not know what was wrong, they just said, "Hey, you have a brain lesion. We can't diagnose you, but you are sick and you do have to stop. You do have to pause and you do have to take care of yourself." Because after December 27th, I stayed in the hospital almost 30 days without a diagnosis.
mm.
And that was right during the time of COVID. So from December 27th all the way up to I think maybe the 1st of February, I was left without nothing. They didn't give me a diagnosis or anything. I left the hospital with a pack of prednisone and I went home and I still didn't have anything until March of 2020. That's when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Wow. Wow. I'm sure that had to be the longest, those days,
Yes.
the not knowing,
Yes.
right? Something we can do
Yeah.
something, but the not knowing can be very challenging.
Yeah.
What was your initial emotional response when you learned about when you actually learned that it was multiple sclerosis?
Um, Honestly, I was having the attacks that I was having turned into to the natural eye. It looked like seizures. So I began to have those seizures every 15 minutes. And it began to shock my body from the head all the way down to my feet. And what I told God during that time, I said, God, if you just allow these shocks to stop happening to my body, I can handle anything else that comes with this. That was it. That's all I said. And so I went to go see, his name is Dr. Alhamda. And my dad had, right before we went to go see him, my dad told me, he said, sometimes we want God to heal us supernaturally. And he said, God will allow doctors and nurses to come in our lives to give us medicine to heal us. And he told me that right before we went to go see the doctor. I already knew the diagnosis. And when I told God, I said, God, please just heal me from these attacks. And so I just wanted God to heal me from the attacks. And I just said, I can deal with everything else that comes with multiple sclerosis. I don't care. And that's how I deal with it every day. Because I just wanted to be able to function.
Mhm.
Because multiple sclerosis is a non-curable illness. So it's nothing that I can do to get rid of it. I just wanted to be able to function like a normal human being. So, see?
Oh, awesome. What were some of your biggest physical, emotional, or mental challenges that you faced during the journey? So it's been 6 years.
Yes. I would say being able to, one, lose friends. I lost a lot of friends.
Wow.
Um, because the biggest thing was because I was diagnosed during COVID. One, I was scared to go out. I know people still went out. I personally was scared to go out because I had to deal with COVID. And having an autoimmune disease, that was something very new to me. I'm already not a very sociable person anyway, and I think a lot of people think I am a sociable person, but I'm not. So to have that pressure of making sure that you're not around a lot of people, making sure that you're not doing this, I had to adjust to not being in certain spaces, not wanting to get sick, people not understanding that I'm changing my diet. I don't eat meat, I don't drink, I don't eat dairy products. So people did not understand that. Me changing my journey about how I love on God more because I wanted to change my relationship that I have with God. And things that I had to deal with, I didn't realize that I was actually going down a depression. I don't like to say the word depression, but I had to understand that that was happening to me. There were times where I actually wanted to end my life
Mhm.
some days. So I had to understand that. Some days I was driving and I was like, you know what? Let's end today. Let's end my life today. So understanding like you need to actually go to therapy. Um, and sometimes as I'm not going to say black women, I'm going to say women in general, like we hold in those feelings, we hold in those emotions because we want to say we're strong women and we don't go through anything. And because I remember, I think Sunshine is on here. She said, Alex, you act like you don't never go through nothing. You don't, you act like you're so strong. And I was like, you know what? I probably do. And so I had to understand that you're not strong all the time. So going through that, losing friends that um I did not understand, did not want to support, and had to understand who is your core people,
Right.
who is going to understand. My mom told me something. If people cannot see you how you are right now, then they're not truly your friends. If people cannot understand who you are in this space, then they're not who you with you, during this time, if that makes sense.
you can discover a lot about people during adversity, right? That's when your
Absolutely.
character is truly formed. And it's unfortunate like, that some people just don't know how to handle that. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier to just walk away. So but that's unfortunate because
Yeah, for sure.
that's when your friends need you the most. Um, well, you kind of answered this. Is your diagnosis that make you feel isolated or
Oh
misunderstood,
yeah.
emotionally alone? So you definitely answered that. So how did you navigate that? Like, how did you? It sounds like your mom was definitely somebody that you were able to go to.
Yeah. I understood who my core people were. I had people in my house every day. Two of my friends on here now, Camille and Sunshine, they called every day, but I definitely became close to God. I was literally off work for 1 year. Um, Something that I did not expect.
Mhm.
So learning how to take time out for myself, learning how to build a schedule, um, learning how to say no. If you knew me prior to, I would say yes to everything. So my no has become my no. My yes is my yes. I don't say yes all the time. And learning how to, like I said, learning how to live off a schedule and just understanding that if I am sick, I'm sick. My mom always tells me that, girl, you go to the doctor for everything. I literally do not care. If something is wrong, something is wrong. Learning how to know that if something is wrong with my body, I need to take care of it immediately because who knows how long I have had multiple sclerosis because I would have, say that, oh, maybe I'm just getting old, years ago. And I could have probably taken care of this issue
Mhm.
a long time ago, even though, like I said, multiple sclerosis doesn't have a cure, but I could have dealt with this issue a long time ago. So I'm just learned to say my yes is my yes, my no is my no, understanding that it's okay to, I wrote a status on Facebook last night that I don't have to continue to be loyal to people who aren't loyal to me. Um, um, and know that your support comes from people who love you and just dismiss people who aren't loyal to you. Because we do have to be around people, but we don't have to be around people who don't love us.
Right. And we have to be around all people, right?
Yeah,
We don't
for
owe
sure.
anybody anything. I remember telling my aunt who's on here, I reserve the right to be happy. Like I reserve
Yeah,
the right to be happy. And so sometimes dealing with people who aren't loyal to you can cause some unhappiness in that process.
yeah,
So definitely making yourself a priority, it sounds like you did, and having to slow down to understand,
yeah,
that not only we don't have to be strong for everybody else, it's not even necessary. Like, why are we trying to be so strong? Like, why is that a badge of honor?
yeah, for
So
sure.
being able to slow down and say, hey, I don't need to do all of that stuff. And then I'm sure you figured out quickly what was important and what
Yes,
that you were just
for
doing
sure. Yeah,
as well. So being a person that sound like definitely didn't know you in that season of your life, because I still think you'd be going and making things happen. So having to just now and understanding that, I love how you said my yes is my yes and my no is my no. Like
hmm,
both of them are complete sentences, right? And you don't have
yeah,
to justify either or. So I'm excited about that. And you touched on the support system. I think that's a big piece of um, being able to identify who's really there. And that's because sometimes it's when you're no longer useful to them, then they walk away versus that point now you need them versus they always needing you.
yeah.
So I love how you share with that as well, understanding who those individuals were. Um, when you, because we kind of hit on a couple of these, was there any type of support that you wish you had received but didn't?
Nope.
Okay.
Honestly, no. I think during that time, I was able to see a lot of things. I was on my back for 30 days. And I could not do anything. Those MS attacks were horrible. Wasn't able to bathe myself. I was not able to wash my hands. I was not able to do anything. So not being able to do those things, I was able to see a lot of things.
Mm,
So I would tell anybody that's not able to do anything for themselves, you are able to see the actual support that you have. I was able to see my mom in a different light, my dad in a different light, my friends in a different light. I even had one of my friends tell me, she said to me, God doesn't want you to be around anybody during this time. And I was like, girl, what? What do you mean? And
mm,
so I remember thinking to myself, I was like, what if I actually would have cut off everybody if I would have listened to her? And I literally was thinking that, but if I did cut off everybody during that time, I wouldn't have anybody. I
mm,
didn't pay a bill during that time. I didn't have to use my disability during that time. I didn't use anything until I went back to the office in August of 2021.
mm.
So I literally just thank God during that time that I was able to listen to him and he was able to show me who people were, who my support system was, and I was able to just see visibly like, okay, what to do, what to cut off. I had to shut down my business during that time. I remember regretting to myself, like making the post saying, hey guys, I'm gonna have to shut down my business. This is what's going on. And as soon as I made the post, people that I didn't know began to cash out me and all
Mm.
the things. And so I was just like, okay, God, thank you. So this is why I always tell people, like, I don't I really believe in God and I hear his voice. So I sit back and I listen to him. And so when he tells me to do something, I do it and I'm obedient to his voice. So I'm not always looking for people. I'm looking for God's voice. So during that time, I don't regret anything.
Awesome. Awesome. And we need people. Like we need, but we need the right people, right?
Yeah,
And
for
so being
sure.
able to listen to God, he will reveal who the right people are if we definitely listen to him. So I love how you emphasize that as well. And then the fact that you said there's um, that's great that there was no support that you were looking for that you didn't get. Because sometimes people just don't know how to support. So it's not like a mean thing. It's
Yeah.
sometimes people just don't know how to do it. So that's awesome that you were able to be able to get all the support that you needed in the way that you needed it as well. So the next thing, was there any specific moment when you realized you were stronger than you thought?
Oh, yeah. Therapy. Therapy. So those attacks that I had, if you talk to anyone who has multiple sclerosis, it affects everyone differently.
Mhm.
So the brain lesion that I have sits on a major nerve on my brain, and so the nerve affects every nerve in my body.
Ooh.
So when I went, it made me very weak. So I ended up being on a walker. So it's almost like I had to learn how to use every part of my body again. And so I was like, this is just crazy. I had to learn how to drive again, learning how to like almost walk all over again. And so therapy, if you've been in therapy before, you know those therapies, they like push you
Yeah, yeah.
to the max. And I think it was more so a mental thing for me because I couldn't believe that I was there. I was like,
Mm.
what, why am I here? Um, but I was so grateful that my aunt, she went with me every day. It
Mm.
was almost like everything was just happening just divinely. Like my aunt just happened to be working from home, although it was COVID, but she just happened to be working from home. And she was like, well, I'll go with you. I'll take you. So she was working while she was at therapy with me. And the therapists were so nice. They were so patient with me, but they pushed me harder every time. And I was like, this is so crazy. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to do this. But I'm a tennis shoe girl now, but I never wore tennis shoes before. 6 years ago, you couldn't catch me in a pair of tennis shoes. So I buy more tennis shoes now because it's a almost like a encouragement because man, I can't believe that I made it through therapy. So
Okay,
yes,
awesome. This is little things, right, that
yeah,
matter that didn't matter before that
yeah,
actually
for sure.
have some significance in it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, how did your faith mindset or support system impact your healing or survival? I think you've been emphasizing that through your whole
Oh
conversation.
yeah. I live by it. I mean, even 1 year after I was diagnosed, I had blood clots on my heart and my lungs. So, and they still don't know where they came from. Um, it impacts my life
Yeah.
because I'm still here. God is amazing. I'll tell anybody. I just said it. I listen to God all the time. Like, okay, God, what do you need me to do? Um, I'm just here. I'm here by faith. God is amazing. I live my life every day with faith because you just never know. I just a few weeks ago, I go to the MS walk every year. And I just look at so many different people who have MS and I see how it affects them differently. And
Mhm.
then I look at myself and I'm like, man, I do have ailments that are going on in my body. Like my left foot is numb and it's been like that for the last 4 years. But I don't have as many things that go on in other people's bodies. However, I'm still grateful, but I'm just even the more grateful because there are some people who walk on canes and walkers and other things, but
Yeah.
God is amazing.
Yeah. I had a friend who um, de- dealt with MS. We no longer have him, but we
Hmm.
watched his walking, and then you see less
Yeah.
ability control. So yes, I totally see what you mean.
Yeah.
Understand because I haven't did the journey, but having a really good friend go through it. So and there's
Yeah.
different levels of it. So and we're grateful that you're sharing your story with us. We're grateful for that. Um, what message would you share with women who may currently be facing a similar diagnosis or a health battle in general?
Take care of yourself as much as you can. Find you a great neurologist, a great PCP doctor. And honestly, if you feel like something is wrong, do not Google. Do not get on Google. Do not chat GPT your symptoms. Literally find you the best doctor that you can. I'm a resource. I have friends who have resources as well, but don't Google your symptoms because I promise you, you'll be sicker by tomorrow. But definitely find you the best. There are several neurologists out here. If you can't get like a referral or something like that, go to your PCP doctor and be an advocate for your own health. Be an advocate for your own health because sometimes the medical professionals, and I'll tell you, like even before I was diagnosed, I want to say 3 or 4 minor meds before I even went to my PCP doctor. And it was my PCP doctor that actually was the advocate for me to even be seen because I was sent home so many times.
Mm,
So you have to be an advocate for your health. And then you have to get a medical professional that's going to be an advocate for you because sometimes they will send you home and they'll just take your insurance money. So,
mm,
yeah,
mm.
yeah,
Because I was going to ask you, did you ever have to advocate for yourself? I always hear women
absolutely.
talk about
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Yeah.
where people
Yeah.
don't.
And depending on sometimes even if your doctor is really good and then they refer you somewhere else, if that doctor isn't a good doctor, you need to go back to your doctor and tell them your experience and tell them what happened. Because I've had that happen before. Like I didn't have a good experience to where my doctor referred me to like, hey, this is what happened. This is how my experience that I had, and they'll refer me somewhere else. If I have a bad experience, I always tell my doctor, like, hey, this is what happened. And if they're upset, if I'm upset, they're upset. So I'm advocate for my health all the time.
Awesome. Love it. Um, what else would you like us to know about your story?
Honestly, God, I'm grateful to have MS. And I know some people look at me crazy when I say that, but The reason why I'm grateful is because of moments like this. Some people are very quiet when they're ill, when they're not feeling well, and I don't have anybody to share it with. I meet random people all the time, and they may start talking about something that they're going through, and I can share what I'm going through, what I've been through. You never know when you're having a random conversation with somebody, and I feel like God has blessed me to be on this journey. I'm not always feeling my best, but I don't always show that I'm not feeling my best.
Mhm.
It's not about me posting on social media or anything like that. I'm just grateful to be able to share my story with someone because it'll bless somebody else. So that's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I do appreciate you sharing your story and even just the parts of the story that's not even, comfortable to share or it causes you to tear up and stuff like that. So your willingness to share with us today, I definitely appreciate it. I definitely want to give the ladies the opportunity to ask questions. I'm trying to see if there was any other questions that I missed to make sure that we get the opportunity to discuss, but I think you covered. Let me ask you this. Did your, love when I hear people take their pain and give it purpose. So have you used your experience to make a difference or add, because I know you have a nonprofit.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So my nonprofit is for people who have what we call invisible diseases, such as lupus, multiple sclerosis, Graves' disease is what my mom has. She has what is most people call it thyroid disease. And so what we do is raise awareness because a lot of people we focus on like breast cancer or just different types of cancer that's very popular for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love that. I support it, but I want people to know that it's a lot of people that have lupus. There's a lot of people that have multiple sclerosis, and it's a lot of people that have thyroid disease. My mom got diagnosed at 40 years old, and so I didn't know anything about thyroid disease until she got diagnosed at 40. And so these are things that do not have a cure to it at all, and we're taking all types of medicine for it. But the thing is, we don't have a lot of support systems for it. We're just going through things, and these are things that deteriorate our bodies. And the other thing is that we're a lot of people with those diseases, a lot of other things come with it. Just like I had blood clots right after I
Mhm.
was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And we just want to, with the nonprofit, we want to raise awareness, but we also want to create that support system for us because we need that. And I think with people that have like breast cancer or other types of cancer, they get the support that they need because it's national wide and everybody
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
supporting, but we don't get the support that we need. So,
Right. Right. So we're going to go into our questions,
okay.
and I'll tell you guys why I shifted later. Um, so let's see, because I did see a couple of questions. Um, Vera asked, "How did your diagnosis impact your family?"
Um, my mom is, my mom is my mom, y'all. I think she still talks about it to this day. She actually was talking about it this weekend. And I think she was the most impacted by it because I'm my mom's only girl. My mom only has me and my brother, but I'm her oldest child. And I think she was most impacted by it because she thought she was going to lose me, honestly,
Mhm.
because I was detrimentally sick and they could not figure out what was wrong with me. That was the only issue. It took them so long. It took them 3 months to figure out what was wrong with me. So, and my family, everybody came in from out of town to see me. Um, I'm the oldest grandchild on my mom's side, and I'm the only girl, well, the oldest girl on my dad's side. So it affected everybody differently. So I think it was more so like they thought they was gonna lose me. So it affected them very heavily. I never saw my dad cry but this time I did.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Someone asked, how did your mom know she had, because I think your mom had thyroid disease.
Yes, it's different types of thyroid disease. It's hyper and hypo, and she hers go in between, but hers is stable now. She has hyper, I believe. I could be wrong, but she started to lose weight. My grandmother was sick during that time, and she started to lose a lot of weight, and that's how she found out. But we thought she was just stressed out because my grandmother was in the hospital. But she did. The symptom was she just started to lose a lot of weight, and she ended up just going to the doctor. And her eyes, they can tell by your eyes. Your eyes will start bulging, and weight loss.
One of my friends had thyroid disease. And I think the big piece of that, ladies, pay attention to your bodies. If you're seeing
Yeah,
something different that you know that's not, keep, you know you're not feeling
yeah,
right, and they keep telling you, no, you're good. Keep going back if you keep feeling it, because you know your body. So pay attention to your body, because what we do as strong women, a lot of times, we will then say, oh, I'll figure it out, or we take some ginger ale, or we do some different things. So we want to make sure we pay attention to our bodies. And then also when you were talking about the the I forgot how you put it, the diseases that are unknown, like the silent that nobody talks
hmm
about,
yeah,
is, I totally get that, because I think about that with my sister having the ovarian cancer. All cancers aren't talked about the same as well.
yeah,
It's
for
not that
sure.
we're minimizing anybody's situation. What we're just saying that we would love, for others to know and be able to support those individuals as well. So it's definitely something that I appreciate your type of work, and I'm sure people around you appreciate it as well with it. So throwbacks, ACD, and sweep things. Yes, yes, we will sweep some things under the rug in a minute, because we're supposed to be strong with it.
Yes,
Does we
don't do that.
right? Does anybody else? We want to put your. Let me see if the link, if I can paste the link again. Yes, I just pasted her link. So to be able to contact Nicole and A Nicole and all her link trees, and please check out her magazine. Talk about your magazine a little bit as well. Then I'm gonna bring up the pictures that you shared with us.
Okay. So yes, my magazine. So I started my magazine, I believe it's been 4 years ago. I'm trying to remember, maybe 4 years. My magazine started because I was really just playing around, y'all. Literally. I was playing around on my birthday. My mom was having surgery, and I told my graphic designer at the time, I said, hey, I want to do a magazine cover for my birthday. And she said, okay, bet. She made the cover for me, and then God said, hey, you should, you need to create a magazine to tell your story about multiple sclerosis. I said, oh, okay. So had no idea how to create a magazine. I told my graphic designer at the time, this is what God just gave me. Let's figure it out. I created the magazine. Um, I believe it was 4 years ago. We are now getting ready to launch our eighth edition. So the magazine started off with me talking about my story about multiple sclerosis, and now we feature different women and men, just talking about their different testimonies of faith. If they're community leaders, that can be women who've gone through different things, business owners, and we also market different businesses and organizations here in the city and other cities as well.
Awesome. So share with us why you chose these pictures to share.
Well, I'm an advocate for multiple sclerosis. Um, and I really wanted to, when you asked me, I had to just think about my life. I got baptized on a walker. I couldn't remember if I had got baptized when I was a child. And my mama couldn't remember either. And my aunt was getting baptized. And she said, do you want to get baptized? And I was like, yeah, why not? But I was on a walker. And I was like, well, how I'm gonna get in the pool? But I was like, God was like, just do it. And I got baptized on a walker that day. That's why I sent the picture of the walker. And I couldn't believe that I walked up on some steps. I got baptized at Life Church in Cordova. And I just couldn't believe that that happened. And I believe shortly thereafter, I came off of the walker.
Praise God.
Um, and that was just like so amazing to me. Um, and the picture with the oxygen, I remember that was a year after I had just got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And that was March the 22nd, 2022. I was like, I said, God, you trying to kill me? That's exactly what I said. Um, and he said, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be cool.
Mm.
And I talked to God like that, like, what's up? What you trying to do? Because I need to know where's my life heading. Um, and I wanted to just tell you all, like, even though you may go through some things, you still have a story to tell. The picture with the microphone, my granddaddy had just died. But I wanted to keep my commitment to the young lady that I had told her I was coming to speak at her event. I don't believe in breaking commitments. So I went. I was like, I got a commitment. I have to go. I'm not going to break the commitment. I still spoke. I did what I had to do and I left. I'm always telling people, like, if you say yes, your yes is your yes, your no is your no. And even though my granddaddy had passed away, I made sure that I did what I had to do. I was broken. I was hurt. I was depressed because my granddaddy died in my arms, but I still was there. The magazines, I wanted to let y'all know I'm just advertising. However, do what God has called you to do. If He gives you a vision, He's going to provide the resources. If He tells you what to do, He's going to provide the resources. Stop worrying about the money. I've never worried about the money until now, but this is pushing me to do something that I need to do. Don't worry about the money, just do it. And the two multiple sclerosis pictures is just I just wanted y'all to know that, hey, even though I have multiple sclerosis, I still keep going regardless. And the red dress picture that's just me. Even though I'm an introvert, I love taking pictures. So if you follow me on social media, I'm taking a selfie all day long. So, uh, so yeah, this is me.
Awesome, awesome. Um, I'd order them stuff to share as well. So this was awesome. Is there any other questions for Miss Alexandria A. Nicole?
You sound like my mama calling my whole name.
I don't have, excuse me, I don't have a question. I just have a comment
Okay, thank you.
that, yes, I'm one of Alex's longtime friends and sister for over 20 years. And every time I'm in the space where, hearing her story as though I don't know it's a thing, I get emotional because I know that even in the midst of what she has going on, she also is there for other people. And she's been there for me for several years because my mom actually is fighting an invisible disease. And so she's always literally she show up for everything for me and my family. And so I'm sorry to be crying on your platform. But I just want to say that it's a treat that you all are able to see her in probably a way that y'all never got to. And I'm just blessed that I have been able to see her in so many different phases. And through it all, that I'm always going to be there. And I'm just happy to again be in her space because everything that she's going through, has she still be there for me. And so I'm super appreciative of everything for real. So I just had to say that.
Awesome, awesome. We need those folks in our lives. So awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have any comments or any ahas from your from what she shared that may have encouraged you before we close out? Well, I know you got some hearts. I see hearts and stuff coming. I see those hearts and stuff.
Well, I'm gonna be on here crying, so I'm about to log out or something.
But also, I would say before we, finish it up, just kind of do our last. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Like I knew that you had an illness. I knew that you had a story. I had never knew the story. So thank you for your willingness to share your story on today. And like I said before, sometimes it's just not easy to re-walk that walk right through that process because it definitely can stir up moments. So I appreciate your willingness to share with us on tonight. I'm sure, regardless, we don't have to have the same illness to understand the challenge or to be able to take from what you shared to use it for our own challenge, right? To give ourselves strength. So you did share a lot of nuggets, especially the yes is your yes and the no is your no. That's going to be our takeaway from tonight. So, ladies, I just want to recap really quickly. If we want to encourage you guys, check us out. For those who are new on the call today, the business I have is called Empowered by DS. My whole mission is to empower women to be the best version of themselves in their current season of their lives. So I try to give any situation that's going to support them in their finances, their fitness, their wellness, their career, like their fun, like all aspects. So we do have a membership-based level. It's called Decide Tribe. If you got a text from me from that 662 number, just text back the word tribe and you'll get more information about what we do. These are some of our ladies so we would love for you to join us. And if you didn't get a text, you will now, as a result of being on here, you're now connected with us. But you can, that's the number 662-212-5851. Also, we host different experiences throughout the year. So our biggest thing is not to just have you to join for an event, but to be a part of our experience. So we are really building a community, and one of the events that we hold is called Diva Dinner and Dialogue. Our next one is June 13th. To learn more about that, just text back the letters DDD, no spaces, and you'll get more information about that. And it's really about taking conversation to create connections as well. So that's for our Diva Dinner Dialogue that's coming up. And then in our tribe, we hold a book club. If, even if you're not in our tribe, I encourage you to get the book, The Mountain Is You. It is amazing. It is an amazing book. We'll be talking about releasing the past as one of our new ones. So I'm excited about that, but I do encourage you to do that. So that's one of the things that we try to offer for us to grow together in our tribe. I'm very excited. We just got back last weekend. We went to Birmingham for our day away retreat, but coming in 2027. So write this down, everybody. Write this date down. In 2027, we're doing a wellness on the water, from fitness to mental wellness that we're going to deal with a variety of activities. So I'm very excited about that. By June 1, we'll have all the details out where you can start reserving and being a part of that. So coming out of the Memphis area, we'll go to New Orleans. So it'll be a train ride. I'm a part of the package with your hotel and then the actual cruise. So we're cruising to Cozumel with that. So it's a 4-day. I always get mixed up 4-day, 5 nights. Like it's the 22nd through the 26th, whatever that count is. But it's going to be an amazing experience. So if you want to connect with other women who are definitely in a space where we want to build healthy connections and to be able to grow together, you definitely want to be at that as well. Check out Empowered by DS, our website, to learn more about all the things that we do, as well as follow us on all platforms, Empowered by DS, as well. And make sure that you come back for the rest of the months that we have some other amazing women sharing their stories. And we get on because we care. So it's not just about you. All of our recordings are on my Empowered by DS YouTube channel. So check out some of the previous. This will be up there as well. But we're excited about being able to learn. So we empower you to empower. Don't just stop at you. You want to be able to take this information. If you know of anybody who's dealing with MS or anybody who's dealing with the illness, share the the video with them. They may be able to be encouraged by it as they go through their journey. So we share because we care. So we are excited to provide this platform to put not only ourselves in a different space, but also to encourage others as well. So thank you guys for getting on tonight. I truly appreciate it that you're being on. I'm stopping this recording.